Fusion 360's motion studies let us evaluate motion between components in an assembly. You need to be in the model workspace to create motion studies. Before we start our study, let's examine the joints that we used to put this assembly together. In the browser, you'll see the joints that were used. You'll also notice that some of the joints have been renamed. Those are the joints that we're going to use in this motion study, so they were renamed to make them easier to find. Below the joints, you'll see motion links. Those are used to relate motion between the large doors and the small doors. What I want to have happen in the motion study is the large doors and the small doors open. The landing gear then rotates down to position, and then the large doors return to the closed position. So I'm going to undo those drag operations to put all the components back to their original spots. And you'll find the motion study command under Assemble. To create motion studies, you'll select joints in the browser that you want to move. And then you'll specify position and the step in the study to control where the joints are. I'll start with door A, which controls the large doors in the landing gear. Now my motion will start at step 10 for those doors, and at step 40 I want the doors to be fully open at 90 degrees. Then at step 74 the motion will start again to close the doors. And finally at step 100, which is the end of the study, the doors will be at 0 degrees. Now I can drag the playhead in this dialog to see the motion, or I can also use the playback controls in the dialog. I also want the small doors to move. Those are controlled by the revolute joint named door C, and I want those to start moving at step 10 and to be completely open at step 40. And then the small doors remain open, so those are the only changes I'll make to the motion curve. To make the landing gear move, I'll use the revolute joints that I renamed landing gear. At step 20, the landing gear will begin moving, and at step 45, I want the landing gear to be at a position of 30 degrees. At that point, I need the landing gear movement to slow. So then from step 45 to 79, they'll complete the movement. So they'll move the last 29 degrees in that range. And that's the only movement for the landing gear. So once again, I can drag the playhead to see the movement, or I can use the playback controls. You'll notice as I play it back, the landing gear movement slows down towards the end before the door closes. Once I'm satisfied with my study, I can click OK to create the motion study. That concludes this video on Fusion 360's motion studies.